Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be installing this gorgeous wig from Yolissa Hair. This is a 5x5 HD lace wig. It is 30 inches and it is 250% density. And I think this hair is absolutely gorgeous. So as I said, this is a 5x5 inch closure wig, and I did go in and bleach the knots just because that's my preferred look. And here I'm just plopping the wig on my head, and this is air dried after letting it sit in conditioner overnight. I wanted to make sure the hair was nice and soft and defined. So here I'm just moving all the hair back from the front so I can prepare to lay this closure. So here is just what the texture looks like air dried, no product on the hair whatsoever. It has like a crimped kind of look, which I actually really like. And as you can see, it is nice and juicy and it looks super moisturized. So typically I always go in and spray the spray over the lace, but I've learned that it just doesn't work that great that way and it makes it super crusty. So I have jumped on the train of putting it underneath like everybody else does, and I actually really like it. I prefer it this way because you can really control the spray and not getting all over the hair, making the hair crispy and hard. So I really like this method. So after letting it kind of get tacky a little bit, I'm just going to pull the closure forward to exactly where I want it to be, which is a little bit in front of my hairline because I don't want it to rip off my edges. So here I'm just taking my comb and combing it in. So combing the lace into the spray that's on my forehead so that it lays nice and flat. And then of course, take my elastic band and put this on for about 10 minutes or so, or at least until it's somewhat dry, because you want to make sure it doesn't lift when you cut it. And here I'm just going to press it down a little bit. So now that the elastic band has been sitting for about 10 minutes or so, I'm going to take it off and start to work on cutting this lace off with these little teeny scissors. I've told you guys before, I do not use eyebrow razors because I've cut my forehead before and I'm traumatized, so I don't do that anymore. But here I'm just going to define my middle part so I can get ready to press it over. And for whatever reason, right as I was doing this video, my hot comb decided to stop working. So I'm going to be using a different method to get this nice and flat. I was so annoyed by that, but I ordered another one, of course, because I can't go out like that. But here I'm taking some mousse and putting it on basically the roots of the hair in the middle, so that when I go in and press it down using my wand curler, that's the only thing I had to kind of get this nice and flat. So I'm just going in with this wand curl and pressing it down, trying not to burn myself, and then consistently adding a little bit more basically mousse or hairspray to keep it flat. So here I'm just making sure everything is nice and flat, no flyaways. I went back in with some more of that mousse yet again, and I'm just pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. And off camera right after this, I did go in and put my scarf on for about 10 minutes to lay it even flatter since I didn't have my hot comb anymore. But this is what the hair is looking like. It is absolutely stunning, okay? So here I'm about to take off the elastic band after having it sitting on there a little bit longer than I wanted it to actually. And it was really hard and painful. So be careful ripping off your skin or any hair on your forehead. Definitely be careful. So this is just my typical process for doing my baby hairs. Nothing crazy. I always take the two pieces at the temple because that's where my baby hairs are anyway. And because I have a bigger forehead, I like to do the side, and now I like to do the middle as well. I used to do that years ago and I stopped doing it for some reason, but I actually like the way it looks a little bit better than just doing both sides. So I'm taking this mousse that I was using to keep the hair flat and molding my baby hairs, cutting where I need to because you don't want your baby hairs to be super duper long. I've been trying to master my baby hairs on my wigs and how I like them, and I realized that before my baby hairs were just way too long and it was not giving. Okay, so now I'm learning to kind of cut them, pluck them, thin them out, make them look like real edges. I don't know why I didn't get that concept a long time ago, but yeah, I felt like wigs just needed to be dramatic for some reason. So here I'm taking the middle and I'm just flat ironing that away from my face, and I'm going to do the same thing, a little swoopy swoop in the middle. I feel like it just balances out my forehead to make it look a little less foreheady. Okay, so here I'm just going to do that, and then of course I'm going to go in and put my elastic band back on. I did go in and put some mousse on top of this so it can set underneath the elastic band while I'm prepping the rest of the hair. I didn't want to manipulate the hair too much in this video, so I just kept the top. Obviously gets a little messed up while you're doing it. So I went in and took some of that mousse that I was using and just put it in those pieces at the top that got a little frizzy. And I'm just combing it out, making sure it's nice and evenly distributed through the hair. I did go in and add a little teeny bit of water, but I didn't want my hair to be dripping wet, so I did not add too much because you don't want it to be literally leaking all over your shirt. So I just did a little bit and it defined the curls nice and gorgeous. And then in the end, this is what the hair ended up looking like after it dried. It was still a little damp with product in this clip, but it still looks gorgeous and amazing. And it's just gonna get bigger and bigger throughout the day, depending on how much hair product you use. If you use more hair product, it's gonna give that wet look and it's not gonna get super big and fluffy throughout the day, which I don't mind these days because I actually like that look. But if you wanted to go for more of a wet look, you can literally drench this hair in water and products and you'll be good to go. So this is what it's looking like. As you can see, it is getting a little bit fluffier, a little bit looser the more that I manipulate it. And here I just pinned some of the hair back because it was getting a little hot and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cute. So I decided to show you guys what that looks like. All of the links for this wig will be down below. Definitely be sure to go and check out Yolissa Hair.